what we've seen to date, based on what our experts have read and researched, we believe up to 50% of former professional rugby players could end up with neurological complications in retirement. I mean, that's an epidemic. And whether you believe that the governing bodies in the World Rugby are liable or not, something has to be done to improve the game going forward. Some of our guys have put together 15 commandments that they would like to see changed to the game going forward. Everything from a very simple regulation of training, which even the NFL has done since 2011, to a central concussion database. We're sending the letter before action to the other side either later this week, early next week. And then, quite rightly, they will have a chance to go away for a number of months to reply. It's worth emphasising that this is just the opening salvo of the action. There's a very long way to go. Nothing has been resolved. We've not even engaged in opening conversations yet with the other side. Our main priority is to get financial support for our guys. The second objective is hopefully by starting this action to get out into the open the fact that there are certain things within the game that are broken, such as the sheer amount of contact that your average professional rugby player takes over the course of a season. I mean, I did a basic calculation comparing the NFL to rugby. And if you think of the NFL, where I believe they're limited to 16 padded practices a year and plus 16 games a season, we're looking at an NFL player over the course of a season having about 30 to 40 days of padded practice and contact via games. In contrast, if you look at rugby union, all these guys play around 30 games a season, and because training isn't regulated, some guys play up to have up to 2, 3, 4 days of contact each week during the week in training. So your average rugby player, I'm sure, has in excess of 100 days of physical contact, in contrast to an NFL player with 30 to 40 days. So that's a considerable difference. Every guy involved in this action loves the game and they love the physicality of it. The caveat to that is, since 1995, when the game went professional, the size of the guys has increased, the power, the strength, the pace of the game, and therefore the collisions have increased. I think there's certainly things potentially within a game that the governing bodies can change. So if you think of the World Cup final, when the bomb squad, 6 18-stone South Africans, came off the bench on the 50th, 60th minute, as they do in every single game, you get 6 forwards coming off the bench in the second half. That just means that the days of the 15-stone Jeff Probyn have gone, and potentially there's something there as well. But again, the point to emphasize is that everyone involved in this action ultimately loves the game, and the physicality is part of that. They feel as though upon retirement, they are left with their broken bodies and minds to try and get by as best they can. And in fact, one of the commandments our guys would like to see is, upon retirement, that each player gets a health MOT at the end of their career, just to see if there is anything that they can get clinical attention and support for. Immediate changes need to be made to the game to protect the current generation and the future players going forward. The collisions are just as big now, the speed of the game, the workload, and there's nothing to suggest that what's unfortunately happened to Steve and Alex and Michael won't happen to current and future generations.